Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the quarantine series. This has been going well. आप सबका बहुत शुक्रिया हिस्सा लेने के लिए, सारे गेस्ट से सवालात पूछने के लिए. This has fueled us और बहुत सारे लोग एक्साइट हुए मेरे साथ और इंडस्ट्री में भी to do more of this. This is Ramzan and we are on in a lockdown. Great time to transform yourself, great time to learn and at the same time हमें अपना ख्याल भी रखना है और उस हवाले से आज का मौजू बहुत ही अहम है और जिस मेहमान को मैंने दावत दी I call her the wonder woman in our industry. She's somebody who's been at it in her own style. She's very cool, she's global, she teaches a lot of people कि वो गायब होने से अपनी प्रेजेंस बना सकें ऑनलाइन. ना सिर्फ ये बल्कि साइकोलॉजी की महारत रखती हैं और बेशुमार मैनेजर्स और लीडर्स को बेहतर बनना सिखाती हैं. वो अपनी इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस डेवलप कर सकें और ज़्यादा बेहतर अंदाज में अपनी टीम्स को लीड कर सकें. She is has a proven track record, a wonderful consultant, trainer and a speaker. Thank you very much, Rahila, for joining us this evening.
Thank you so much, Umair, for having me on your show.
It's wonderful. This is the first time we are having a chat like this on a show. So I'm very, very excited, but I get nervous as well. So please help me out. This is the quarantine series. I will quickly tell people what all we have, sort of coming up so that people stay on. और साथ साथ सवालात भी आएंगे कुछ comments पे और कुछ लोग हमें live join करेंगे towards the end. हम किस बारे में बात करने लगे हैं? We'll talk about emotional intelligence है क्या और ज़रूरी क्यों है? कुछ लोग कहते हैं इमोशंस आर अ वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम. देखें जी, मैं लॉजिकल आदमी हूँ, मेरा काम भी है, मैं कामयाब हूँ, आप क्यों मुझे फजूल में ये चीज़ें सिखा रहे हैं? वीड ऑल्सो लाइक टू नो इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस. जब आप जान जाते हैं, जब आप अवेयर हो जाते हैं, ग्राउंडेड हो जाते हैं, समझते हैं, तो उससे क्या इंस्पिरेशन आप डेवलप कर सकते हैं. राहिला इज वर्क विद मेनी पीपल, सो अ स्टोरी फ्रॉम देयर. EI बनता किन चीज़ों से मिलके? ये कोई एक चीज़ नहीं है, कोई एक स्ट्रैंड नहीं है, इसमें बहुत सारी चीज़ें मिली हुई हैं. तो हम राहिला से जानेंगे वो क्या चीज़ें हैं. लड़के लड़कियाँ emotions के हवाले से, who is better naturally, culturally? Let's get some insight on that. And we'll talk about how to develop your EI. And if we get some more time, we'll talk about some books and resources that Rahila would recommend to us to develop our EI further. Thank you very much. That's on the palette that we'll be asking, fueled by your questions, जो कि आप comments में डाल सकते हैं और live आप हमें join करेंगे. Thank you, Rahila. Let's get going. How is the Corona lockdown for you?
Actually, Umair, I'm loving it. I'm actually an introvert. So I love to stay at home and be all alone, which is kind of counter to my profession. Log samajhte hain ki I must be so extroverted because I'm always on a stage or in front of an audience, but it couldn't be further from the truth. Wow. I call myself the queen of introverts. Drastically shy.
That's very, very insightful that your role demands so much of energy and connection, and yet you identify yourself as an introvert.
Yeah, बिल्कुल. अगर आप मुझे जानते growing up, because I was born and raised in Los Angeles and I grew up there. जब शादी हुई तो पाकिस्तान आए. अक्सर लोग शादी करके अमेरिका, कनाडा जाते हैं, but मैं वहाँ से पाकिस्तान आई हूँ. And growing up, I was so deathly shy कि मैं आपसे आंख में आंख मिला के बात नहीं कर सकती. I couldn't. I would like look down and I would be so shy. I couldn't speak in front of anybody. That it was that bad, really bad. And so कभी कभार मैं सोचती हूँ कि how did I end up doing what I do? And there's a whole story behind it.
And you do it so well. Wow, that's quite a story. That's quite a story. You choose not to share that story though. Wonderful. What is emotional intelligence and why is it important?
देखो, लोग समझते हैं कि इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस का मतलब है होगा कि इमोशंस को खुली छूट दे देना, कि जो दिल में आए बस कह डालो. Just express yourself, express your emotions. But that is absolutely the opposite of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence का जो एक बहुत simple definition that I like to share with people is the intelligent use of emotions. तो खुली छूट देना इमोशंस को जरूरी नहीं है कि वो इंटेलिजेंटली आप उसको छोड़ रहे हैं दुनिया में, राइट? और जो आप कह रहे हैं इन एन इमोशनल स्टेट, वो अकल की बात आप कह रहे होंगे. सो इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस इज neither is it के emotions को suppress करना. Sometimes people think कि emotion intelligence का मतलब है कि emotions को मार डालना, खत्म कर देना. And that too is not possible. क्योंकि अगर आप एक इंसान है, then आप में emotions है. So simple definition, emotional intelligence is the intelligent utilization
Intelligent use of
of
emotions.
emotions.
Wonderful.
Yes.
क्यों जरूरी है?
क्यों जरूरी
पहले
है?
आते
Yeah.
थे बहुत मुख्तलिफ तरह की इंटेलिजेंस जरूरी है, मैथ स्मार्ट हो, लैंग्वेज स्मार्ट हो. अब कहते हैं अच्छा वो तो हो लेकिन ईआई स्मार्ट जरूर हो. व्हाट इज दैट?
Well, emotional intelligence, हम कभी कभार we don't call it emotional intelligence, मगर जब कोई किसी शख्स को देखता है और बोलता है mature हो गया है, अक्ल आ गई है, basically what they're recognizing is कि वो
वाओ,
emotionally mature हो गया है, right? He's more
वंडरफुल.
in control of himself. कि बच्चा mature हो गया है अभी. So basically what they're noticing and the change in the behavior is a level of emotional intelligence, right? So it's, and why is it necessary? Well, study after study बताती है, you know, कि success in life, 80%, even in the workplace, 80% of your success is dependent on emotional intelligence type competencies, and 20% is dependent on IQ type competencies. So 80% of your success is dependent on that. और मैं इस तरह से कहती हूँ कि आपका जो emotional intelligence या उसका जो measurement है, it's called emotional quotient. If you imagine a bird with two wings, right? Birds have two wings.
Yeah.
I once asked a group of participants in a training. I said, "Have you ever seen a bird fly with one wing?" And someone said to me, "Haan, Peshawar mein." And
Wow, that takes me back to school time, but
now I had no clue what that meant, and I was like, oh, acha. I literally took it like this. He's really, there must be some bird that in Peshawar flies with one wing. So that evening I went home to my husband and I said, okay, I asked this question in my workshop, and in fact it happened every time. Every time I asked it, someone would say Peshawar mein. And I asked my husband, I said, what does it mean? Peshawar mein, what does that mean? Do you know what it means, Umair?
I do, I do.
It's not a good thing, okay? So when my
It's not a
husband
good thing.
told me finally, first he said, Rahila, just don't go there. I said, but what does it mean? But then he finally broke down and he told me. So I was like, oh my God, okay, I didn't ask that question again. But if you imagine a bird with two wings, right? A bird cannot fly with one wing. And trying to fly with one wing using only your IQ, which is like your technical abilities, your ability to rationalize, analyze, do maths, right? Solve technical problems. If you try to fly with one wing, you're not going to get very far. You'll probably be on the ground and बहुत जल्दी से किसी बिल्ली के पेट में भी होंगे आप. So you need two wings to fly. You need EQ and IQ. You need both of them. But interestingly, biologists को भी पता है कि every bird, one wing is stronger than the other. And they use that wing for a specific functionality. Can you guess what they use the stronger wing for?
For
No?
the
No guess?
trust.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. It's for lift, right? To go to a higher altitude. So similarly, if you look at us and our abilities, our competencies, so IQ is one wing, you need that. EQ is the other wing, you need that too to fly. But if you want to go higher in life, you want to reach greater heights, then you better make sure your EQ wing is strong. Okay, that's how I explain ये क्यों
Wonderful.
जरूरी है.
उड़ने के लिए आपको दोनों पर चाहिए. आपकी IQ वाली competencies भी important है, but the other one is equally important. That's how you fly. बहुत आसान तरीका याद रखने का. Rahila, how do you respond to somebody who's very, very successful? Corporate में बहुत मिलते हैं who are not so emotionally intelligent. In fact, they struggle, but because they have the success and based on the logic, they would not pay attention to this. Why is it important for such people to pay attention to this?
Right. Well, थोड़ा सा हम बैक ट्रैक करते हैं, थोड़ा सा डिफाइन करना जरूरी होगा, आई थिंक, इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस, क्योंकि इट्स अ वेरी ब्रॉड अम्ब्रेला टर्म, एंड इसके नीचे आते हैं स्पेसिफिक कॉम्पिटेंसीज, एंड जो हम कैटेगराइज कर सकते हैं कॉम्पिटेंसीज को, वो है, दो है आपके अंदर की दुनिया से रिलेटेड, और दो है बाहर की दुनिया से रिलेटेड. So, जो दो अंदर की दुनिया से related, can anyone guess in the chat? I'm looking what people might, maybe someone can guess. Anyone can guess what would be an emotional intelligence competency? What do you get? Any guesses there? Any guesses? No guesses? Okay, no
It takes
guesses.
a little while for
Take
the
a guess.
comments to come in because we are on 5 channels. So, but
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
different comments. Okay, we have different. Oh, okay, I can see that. All right. So the first competency is self-awareness. इसको उर्दू में कहते हैं. Do you know, Umair? What do they call it in Urdu?
खुद आगाही.
Yes, exactly. So self-awareness, अपने आप को जानना. And I explain it this way. Self-awareness आपके पास है जब आप वो अंदर की आवाज, there's this voice inside your head जो 24 घंटे आपसे बातें कर रही है. I give it a female gender. Okay, वो आपसे बातें करती है. And it's continuously talking to you. Self-awareness का मतलब है उस वो आवाज आपको clearly सुनाई देती है. You are conscious of what that internal voice is saying to you. That essentially is self-awareness, a state of consciousness. So that is the first competency, self-awareness या खुद आगाही. The second competency is जब आप अपना होश पा लेते हैं और अंदर की आवाज को सुनना शुरू करते हैं, आप तैयार है अगले लेवल आने के लिए. The second competency जो है self management. So Umair, do you have a temper? Do you have a temper? You have
It
a
needs
temper?
to be managed. Yeah.
Do you get triggered really easily? Yeah.
I do. I do.
Well, I used to have a very bad temper. Okay, now I know I don't look like I would. I used to have a very bad temper. I mean, it was like the teenage years, high school and early college. And I would get angry at my mom and I would storm into my room and I would slam my door. And my mummy कहती थी, "Ya Allah, Allah khair kare, jo isse shaadi karega, Allah usko khair kare." She would say stuff like that to me. So I used to have I think it was hormones or whatever growing up, but I used to have a really bad temper, and it kind of stuck with me for a while until I actually learned to develop this self-management competency. And self-management का मतलब है कि आप emotions को control नहीं देते. कि ये लो emotions, मेरा button, okay, here's my button. When you push it, I will do this. And when you push it this way, I will do that. It's taking the control back. You don't let emotions dictate what comes out of your mouth or the actions you take or the decisions you make. You allow your rational brain, your logical brain, to override emotions and guide you to more rational behaviors and actions. So that is self-management. Now, self-management karna itna aasan nahi hai. It's not that easy. But then when I train and I do executive coaching, मैं बहुत ही strategic tips देती हूँ, and maybe we can share those too later on in our conversation.
Yeah.
तो ये है अंदर
बहुत खूबसूरत अंदाज में इतने जगहों से सुना है, पढ़ा है, लेकिन सेल्फ अवेयरनेस, अपनी आवाज क्लियरली सुनना, और सेल्फ मैनेजमेंट, अपना कंट्रोल इमोशन के हवाले ना करना.
Exactly. So ये अंदर की दुनिया है. जब आप अंदर की दुनिया को काबू कर लेते, so that's what I tell a lot of leaders, that leadership begins with personal leadership, right? आप दूसरों को क्या लीड करेंगे जब आप अपने आप को खुद lead नहीं कर सकते? Like you have no control over your reactions and response. You have no होश ही नहीं है आप अपने बारे में कि आप क्या कह रहे, क्या कर रहे. So how can you lead other people? So once you have mastered these two competencies, you are now ready to emerge into the external world and look at the second two competencies. The first one being social awareness, right? Wow. दूसरों का एहसास होना, that is social awareness, कि उसको कैसे महसूस हो रहा होगा, उस पे impact क्या आई होगी is in अल्फाजों की, right? What would have, how is he experiencing this? What is he feeling in this moment? That is social awareness. And it basically जो English में कहते हैं, इसका जो other word is, the manifestation of social awareness is, can you guess? The
Empathy.
English word? Yes! Winner. Point.
Point. Thank you. Sorry, the comments come in late, so I'm playing on behalf of the audience.
Yeah, you got the point. Empathy, right? एहसास होना दूसरे के लिए. And how do we show someone that we are empathetic? हम जाहिर कैसे करते हैं? How do we show someone that we are empathetic?
By listening to their story, by
Yes.
their feeling their pain.
2 points. By listening. Okay, so then when I train people, we differentiate. What is the difference between hearing and listening? So what is it, Umair? Hearing and
Hearing is
listening.
biological and listening is conscious. Hearing तो खुद ही हो रही है ना जो आवाजें आ रही हैं. Listening में मैं तवज्जो दे रहा हूँ.
Exact tawajjuh, attention, right? Hearing is, the sound waves bouncing off your eardrums. That's hearing. But those sound waves, the signals that reach your conscious brain, that's listening. So now tell me, what's the difference between listening and active listening?
Before I answer that, I must tell you I'm getting a lot of support now. People have started helping me out. So listening and active listening would be, I think active listening is greater involvement, wherein you push yourself hard to really, really be in sync with the other. आप सिर्फ कानों से नहीं सुन रहे, आप जिस्म से सुन रहे हैं. आप सिर्फ बात नहीं सुन रहे बल्कि उसको साथ प्रोसेस भी कर रहे हैं और उस पर रिस्पॉन्स जनरेट कर रहे हैं.
Yes. So a lot of times, men, guys, boys who are watching this, you will be blamed at some point in your life that you just don't listen. And you will scratch your head thinking, but maine to sari baatein suni. I was hearing everything. How can you say I'm not listening to you? Yes, you might have listened and it went to your conscious brain somehow, but you didn't active listen. Active listening only happens जब बोलने वाले को एहसास महसूस हो कि उनकी बात सुनी गई है. Right? So
सुनने
you
वाले
have,
को, बोलने वाले को ये फील हो कि उनकी बात सुनी गई है. Wonderful.
yes. So it's about, this is why it's emotional intelligence. क्योंकि the greatest respect that you can give someone in this world and the greatest disrespect, अगर किसी को आपको इंसल्ट करना है, जलील करना है, गाली इस चीज के सामने कुछ भी नहीं है, is listening. It's the greatest respect you can give someone. And I cannot tell you, Umair, people just don't know how to listen anymore. Because we're always, in our devices, and we're, bolo bolo sun rao, and we're head down. We're so distracted by other things. We just don't know how to listen to another human being anymore. And this, I'm telling you, is the source of so many relationship problems. Parents tell me, oh, aajkal ke bacche sunte nahi hai. And I tell them, it's not the children. Because children only replicate what they see the parents doing. It's not the children. आजकल के माँ बाप नहीं सुनते हैं. And so listening is such a valuable skill. And जब मैं executive coaching करती हूँ, when my clients ask me, Rahila, just tell me one thing I should do that will really help me. I said, are you serious? You're going to do it? Yeah, I'll do it. I said, okay, listen. Okay, that's it. Just listen.
You must be disappointed with your answer, but it's so profound.
That's all you have to do. And because आजकल लोग नहीं कर रहे हैं, जो शख्स listen करेगा, जाहिर करेगा दूसरों को कि मैं आपकी बात दिमाग और दिल से सुन रहा हूँ, वो शख्स बहुत कामयाब होगा. बहुत कामयाब होगा. And I think part of my success is I'm a good listener. Ask my husband. I like listen. I always listen to him all the time, and I listen so actively. He doesn't listen, but I do it to him, so he feels like, oh, that's how you grab someone by the heart. क्योंकि जब आप किसी को active listening करते हैं, a lot of people don't even know active listening क्या है. ये एक अलग ही lesson है altogether. जब आप किसी को active listening करते हैं, इस तरह से होता है कि आप उनके दिल पे एक कर्ज लिख डालते हैं और उनका दिल फिर करता है कि वो ये कर्ज उतारे और आपकी बात सुने, आपकी बात माने. So if you want people to listen to you, follow you, do as you say, you got to first listen to them. Active listening. And that is social awareness. And when I add the neuroscience level to it, it's basically about decreasing social pain and increasing social reward, because the brain actually feels pain when it faces social rejection, being ignored, right? Being belittled, being extradited, or being kept out of a group. It creates social pain. So listening is equivalent to the competency of social awareness. That's the third competency.
That's the third one.
Do you know what the fourth one is?
Just like it's management, it's influence, relationship management.
You got it. 4 out of 4. You're on a roll, man. You're on a roll.
मुझे नहीं पता था इसमें मेरा इम्तिहान है, मैं तैयारी करके आता.
You're doing good. No tiyari. You're doing perfectly. The fourth competency in emotional intelligence is relationship management. And this all boils down to something very simple. It's the words that come off your tongue. आज की दुनिया में you cannot force people to like you. You cannot force people to follow you. You cannot force compliance. एक ज़माना था कि आप whip निकालते या डंडा निकालते और मार के compliance लेते. But you can't do that anymore, you know, go figure. You can't do that anymore. So all you have, especially as a leader, and when I say leader, I mean not just in the organizational context, कि आप team leader है, या आप department head है, या आप or corporate lead करते हैं, like a CEO. You are also a leader in the home. So if you are a parent, you are a leader. If you are the eldest sibling, you are the leader. You are the role model for your younger siblings. You are a leader in your community. And the only tool that every leader has is the words that they utter from their mouths. So relationship management, when I train people in relationship management, I teach them the language of emotions. Because emotional intelligence is not only the intelligent use of your own emotions, it's also using other people's emotions intelligently. That is emotional intelligence.
ये चौथी सीढ़ी है. पहली थी अपनी आवाज, दूसरी थी अपने इमोशन की मैनेजमेंट, तीसरी थी समझना उनके इमोशंस, और चौथा उसको इन्फ्लुएंस करना, उसको स्मार्टली लेवरेज करना.
Exactly. Now, tell me this, Umair. अगर एक शख्स बहुत ही intelligent है, like he has a high IQ, right? He's like an Einstein genius. क्या जरूरी है कि वो शख्स नेक और शरीफ इंसान भी जरूर होगा? होगा?
नहीं जरूरी है.
नहीं जरूरी है ना? We've all heard of evil genius, right? हमने सुना है the term. So now tell me this, Umair. If एक शख्स बहुत ही emotionally intelligent है, uses emotions intelligently, अपने भी और दूसरे के भी, क्या जरूरी है कि वो नेक शरीफ इंसान भी होगा?
वो एक्सप्लॉइट भी कर सकता है, मैनिपुलेट भी कर सकता है.
Politicians, right? Right? That's exactly. Or some people might say, my wife. No. Yeah, so it's not necessarily if you are emotionally intelligent, that you are a very good, Nick person as well. This is a skill set. It's a skill. How you use that skill is a completely different set of competencies. Have you heard of SQ? EQ hai, IQ hai, or एक चीज है SQ. Have you heard of SQ?
Spiritual quotient.
Yes. Oh my God. Umair, I knew I liked you for some reason. You're a smart guy. You're a
I
smart
know
guy.
I know the little of everything. I think I do that well. But please explain to the people what is this SQ, spiritual quotient.
Yeah. So scientists, psychologists have categorized this third type of intelligence. It's, you could say कि आपकी consciousness है. And it basically directs the utilization of your other intelligences. आपका intellectual quotient, your IQ, and your emotional quotient, your EQ. तो ये SQ, spiritual quotient, guide करता है कि आप इन इंटेलिजेंस को विन विन के लिए यूज करेंगे, विन विन, या विन लूज के लिए यूज करते हैं. That is your SQ. या हम कहते हैं, like I kind of was thinking इसको उर्दू में क्या कहते होंगे, so I came up with the word. You tell me अगर ये सही है या नहीं. I think it's like हिदायत, right? कहते हैं ना कि अल्लाह ताला सबको हिदायत नहीं देता है. There are so many people in this world, they do wrong, but they don't feel it. They don't feel, एक होता है ना, prick होता है, चुभता है कि, oh, ये गलत है. It doesn't feel right. They do such wrong things and they don't feel it one bit. They don't have this thing called hidayat. They don't have this SQ, right? This is what I've kind of...
I like how you put the two together. It's wonderful. I'd
Yeah,
agree
this
with
is
that.
like
I'd go with the term hidayat for that. Yes.
Yeah, hidayat. And Allah Ta'ala sabko ye nahi deta hai hidayat. So if you feel that prick, कि ये गलत हो रहा है, this is wrong, you are blessed. You are so blessed. And when you feel that prick, be grateful, be thankful. Okay, oh, thank you, Creator, for giving me hidayat, for helping me be conscious of right and wrong. Because I cannot tell you, there are so many people on this planet who don't feel anything when they do wrong. Okay, so that's...
It's true. Wow. It's been quite a journey. Thank you for taking us through the building blocks of emotional intelligence. और आप सबका भी शुक्रिया क्योंकि आप दोहरा रहे हैं साथ कमेंट्स पे, तो इससे लर्निंग और बढ़ती है, एक्टिव हो जाती है. सिर्फ सुनने से पैसिव लर्निंग होती है और रिटेंशन कम होती है. तो जरा चलाते रहा करें हाथ और रीइंफोर्स भी किया करें बातें. एक मोड होता है कि आप बैठ के सिर्फ जज करें, अग्रीड डिसएग्रीड. दूसरा मोड होता है कि आप बिल्ड कर रहे होते हैं और अपने ख्यालात के साथ खेल रहे हैं. सो जो लोग ये कर रहे हैं, आई एम श्योर आप ज्यादा सीख रहे हैं. थैंक यू. वी हैव उमर एंड उमैद. You've been with us for a while. If you're there, please go ahead with your question, Umar. Umar first and then Umaid.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I just before asking question, I can add to के ये spiritual question को रूहानियत भी बोल सकते हैं कि जो your spiritual side, maybe something like that you can say, means your connection with God. That is, and one thing I wanted to ask, and I have struggled throughout my life with it. It is that care too much, you get hurt. Care too less, you will lose them. So how to strike a balance between, okay, sometimes I will appear to people like I'm a very cold person. Okay, but I may be not cold, but I am taking care of myself, like my mental and emotional health and all that. And second question, a small one, how to say no? It's a very challenging thing to people, okay, without explaining yourself. Okay, how I can say no to person? Okay, I have to justify why I'm saying no and all this. I am saying no, just I want to just know. So how can it be? These two questions, please.
Brilliant questions. Very deep questions. Brilliant questions. Thank you for asking those, Umar. So the first question, care too much, care too less. Well, it's like this, Umar, कि anything in extreme, उसका backlash होता है. बहुत ज़्यादा strong emotion, caring too much is neither good, and बहुत ज़्यादा कम emotions, बिल्कुल ठंडे बर्फ हो जाना, is neither a good thing. So it's like, if you imagine, kya hota hai, it's like a seesaw, right? And I have to go into little neuroscience. Are you ready to digest a little neuroscience? Yeah?
Yes, sure, sure.
Okay. Well, in your brain, there are different neural networks. जो emotions का जो network होता है, the part of the brain जो release करता है neurochemicals and hormones, it's called the
Dopamine.
limbic system. It's right in the center of your brain. There's lots of structures in the limbic system. Emotions like caring, love, concern, right, is an emotion. An emotion, if you look at the micro level, is a chemical reaction. So limbic system is the part of the brain that orchestrates the release of chemicals that turn into feelings that you're feeling. The other part of your brain, very important to know, is right over here. Umar, put your hand on your forehead. Umair too, you can put your hand on your forehead. All right. It's right here, right behind your forehead. Anyone know the name of this region of the brain? Right
Yes,
over here.
this is third eye, you call it,
वो
and
थोड़ा,
there is a
Neocortex.
no
prefrontal cortex. It's called
prefrontal cortex. Yes.
prefrontal cortex, or PFC for short. Prefrontal cortex, ये है आपका अक्ल का दिमाग, होश का दिमाग, conscious brain, right? तो seesaw, जो झूला नहीं है, जो seesaw ऊपर नीचे जाता है, एक तरफ आप limbic system डाल दो, दूसरी तरफ आप PFC डाल दो, अक्ल का दिमाग, emotions का दिमाग. अगर emotions on होंगे, you're caring too much, it's gonna force आपका अक्ल का दिमाग off, बंद कर देगा उसको. And if you care too less, right, you become like a robot, right? And basically you cannot stop caring. It's very hard not to feel emotions, okay? So best way क्या है कि एक on हो, दूसरा off हो? Umar, what do you think? Best way क्या होगा दिमाग के लिए?
बैलेंस होना चाहिए, बीच में एक स्ट्राइकिंग बैलेंस रहना चाहिए.
Balanced होना चाहिए. Balanced. तो लिम्बिक भी slightly on हो, PFC भी, तो दोनों एक साथ काम कर रहे हो. So swinging emotions, too much, too less, it's like आपका जो seesaw है, ठक 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 ठक. It's, you don't need that. You want to balance them, and you want to maintain a stable state of emotion, emotional state. And in fact, we're in Ramadan right now, and this is actually training for your brain. It's training your brain to actually create that balanced state of mind. All right. So you don't want to be on, off, on, off. Now, there's a lot of things you can do that जो आप एक balanced state of mind को maintain करने के लिए कर सकते हैं. So we can maybe go into that a little later. But this is the thing. You don't be caring too much, caring too little. You want to be balanced. Okay. And if you notice कि मैं बहुत ज़्यादा care कर रहा हूँ, then you need to take some action to recalibrate. If you notice कि मैंने तो बिल्कुल logically and coldly इस situation को देख रहा हूँ, fully rational, then you need to recalibrate. Okay. So you need to keep conscious of your mental state कि वो balanced state में है या extreme state में जा रहा है. Okay. So that is the first thing. And in fasting, you actually become very conscious of yourself. You become conscious, you become more present state of mind. And this balanced state, it becomes easier to obtain during a state of fasting. Second question, very good question too. How do you say no? Okay, how do you say no? That's a tough one. How do you say no to someone?
Yes.
How do you normally say no, Omer? Or you don't say no?
I wish I could.
You
I wish I could. I would love to do it, darling. I would love to do it. I wish I could.
And sometimes people will say in between, okay, I may do it. They are torn between it. Okay, I cannot upset the person also, and I want to say no also. So it's like a conflicting feelings.
You don't want to hurt the other person, or even if it's a workplace context, you don't want to get on the bad side of your boss by saying no, right? So you have to be very diplomatic. But the thing here is, देखो, guys, आप I always tell people कि देखो आपके माथे पे एक label लिखा हुआ है. We all walk around with labels on our forehead. और ये label आप नहीं पढ़ सकते, सामने वाला पढ़ता है. और इस label पे instructions लिखे हुए हैं कि इस शख्स के साथ किस तरह से बात करो, इस शख्स के साथ किस तरह से पेश आओ, इस शख्स को कितना पुश कर सकते हो, right? और ये कुछ नहीं कहेगा. So we have to take control of the writing on this label. And if you feel like someone's request is pushing your boundary, right? It's something you feel uncomfortable doing, or maybe it's conflicting with your values, or maybe you have other priorities right now, then you very clearly state what is going on right now or how you are feeling. And then you say how it's making you feel. I'll give you a little formula that I teach people. It's called the OFNR formula, how to say no to somebody, okay? OFNR. And this OFNR formula was developed by a psychologist who worked a long time ago with the United Nations. He developed this framework and he used it in conflict zones, like war-torn areas. And he taught people this tool of communication to help them come to an understanding. So OFNR ka matlab hai, O stands for observation, F stands for feeling. Again, this is emotional intelligence language. N stands for need, R stands for request. So give me an example. Someone is asking you something and you want to say no. Can you give me the scenario from your example? And I'll show you how to say OFNR back to them. Give me an example.
Sometime recently also a friend, very close friend of mine, asked me for a help, something in nature of maybe I have to support him in a difficult time. But
With money?
normally I support, yes, and it can be
Yes, for
both.
money?
Yes. So I was not in a position, but I still okay. I will help you. I am in between, like a kind of. I cannot say no to him. Also, like he's a very good friend. So,
Okay.
but I said I will do. Maybe I will go the extra lap and I will maybe arrange from somewhere else and give him or something. So that situation happened something very nearly now.
But you wanted to say no or you didn't want to
Uh,
say no?
I wanted to say no,
You wanted to say no. Okay.
but I said
So when
yes.
your friend asked you for some monetary help, how did you feel? क्या महसूस हुआ जब उसने आपसे ये मांगा? क्या
See,
महसूस हुआ? How did you feel?
by being a very empathic kind of a person, I always feel yeah, I can relate. Okay, he's in a difficult time and all that. So I try to help whatever my maximum any person who I can do.
Okay.
So I said I will see. I will see how what I can do. Maybe I wanted to say no, but I will okay. I will see. Maybe after 2 days you can ask me, check with me like that. So
Okay.
that's
Solve कर
So
दिया
let's
आपने.
let's put this into Offner, okay? So you would tell your friend कि O stands for observation. You just state the facts. So what did your friend just do? He asked you for money out of the blue, maybe, right? अचानक से आपको, you weren't expecting, you know. When you asked me to help you monetarily out of the blue, that is observation. You just state the fact of what just happened. F, I felt. How did you feel? I felt a little taken back. I wasn't, because need, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting you to ask me this all of a sudden. Our request. If you, I really want to help you, but I request you to give me some time. Let me see what I can do. And if I can, I'll definitely, but if I can't, I'll let you know if I can't arrange anything. So what you do is you logically phrase, you don't say no, because that can feel like an attack to the person, and it can hurt the person. So you break it into this Offner statement. You state the observation, how you feel. This is the language of emotion. Why you're feeling that? Because kya need thi, because ye, and the request to the person. And the request should be something you are comfortable with. And I guarantee you the person will cooperate. It could be anything. They will cooperate with you and they won't feel offended. They won't feel hurt because आपने logic and emotion दोनों combine करके उनको इस OFNR statement में पेश किया है. Okay, so this is a really powerful framework. OFNR, OFNR.
Thank
Sometimes
you,
people
Rahila,
will
for that.
feel
Wonderful.
sometimes people will feel they are left in hanging. Okay, he will do or not. They built an expectation. Oh, I have given 2 days,
So
maybe.
request अगर आपका है कि आप नहीं देना चाह रहे, then say that. क्योंकि आपने बोला मैं कोशिश करूंगा. So if you want to say your request is, I request that you come back to me next time. At this moment, I really cannot manage it. Right? I just cannot manage it right now. Just say
Beautiful.
your request. That's it. That's all you have to do. So whatever your request is, you say that.
Thank you, Rahila, for that. Wonderful. OFNR is the tool. बहुत सारे लोगों ने उसको reinforce भी किया है. Rafe, you've also been with us, and Umaid, you also want to ask, but you want to hide behind. You don't want to turn on your camera. That's fine. Please go ahead. First, Rafe, and then Umaid.
Okay, hi Umair and hi Rahila. So I have one small question. How do you relate emotional intelligence with the mindset? Like, if you want to cultivate a mindset, a growth mindset, like we say, so how can we cultivate the growth mindset with emotional intelligence?
Everything in mindset falls under the competency of self-awareness. ये अंदर की आवाज is basically the programming in your non-conscious mind जो playback कर रहा है. 24 घंटे ये programming चल रही है. And the interesting thing is कि जो अंदर की दुनिया में टेप चल रहा है, वो बाहर की दुनिया में आपकी हकीकत बन रहा है. So when you talk about growth mindset, it's about going back to that programming and rewriting the programming. जैसे अगर आप लैपटॉप में Windows डालते हैं 2000, can you upgrade it? Can you upgrade Windows? Right, you can, right? You can upgrade it, you can do a fresh install. So इसी तरह the mind, you can compare it to like a computer. But ये programming जो आपके non-conscious brain में है, ये अंदर की आवाज, ये आज नहीं बनी है. ये बनती शुरू हुई जब से आप पैदा हुए. Okay? जिस सेकंड से आप इस दुनिया में आए अब तक जो आपका बैकग्राउंड है, जिस किस्म के घराने में आप पैदा हुए, कल्चर में पैदा हुए, एनवायरनमेंट में पले बड़े, the types of influences you've had, media, teachers, schools, systems, and even your own personal experiences, ये सारे चीजें मिला के आपकी ये एक internal programming बन रही है, right? So if you want to address the mindset, you got to rewrite the programming. And the best way to rewrite programming is to expose your brain to the type of programming you want and put a barrier up to the type of programming you don't want. आपने सुना होगा कि you are the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most, you spend the most time with. क्योंकि उन 5 लोगों की प्रोग्रामिंग मिल के खिचड़ा बन के आपकी प्रोग्रामिंग बनना शुरू हो जाती है. So pick those 5 people very carefully. Pick your media very carefully. What you feed your brain, it's all part of your programming, right? Social media, television, whatever you're feeding, it's part of your programming. The books you read, it's part of your programming. The new ideas come into your mind. So that is part of the first competency of emotional intelligence, which is self-awareness. पहले होश करो कि programming क्या रही है. Programming ठीक है तो चलते जाओ. Programming सही नहीं है तो उसको rewrite करना शुरू करो.
It's beautiful.
Make sense?
Wonderful. Thank you for the question, Rafe. Umaid, you're on, of course, without your camera.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I just want to ask that कभी कभी आपका एक दिन बुरा चला जाता है तो उसमें खुशियां कैसे ढूंढते हैं, हाउ टू फाइंड हैप्पीनेस इन दैट बैड डे, क्योंकि क्योंकि वो एक बुरा दिन जो है वो बहुत सारे प्रोडक्टिव दिनों को वो इफेक्ट कर जाता है नेगेटिवली. सो हाउ टू डील विद दैट थिंग.
किसी चीज को हम अच्छा बुरा कहते हैं, वो भी हमारी प्रोग्रामिंग है. हमें सिखाया गया कि ये चीजें अच्छी होती है और ये चीजें बुरी होती है. अगर आपने कभी ग्राइप वाटर बॉटल देखी हो, ग्राइप वाटर, so there's a picture of a baby, और बेबी के हाथ में क्या है? सांप. And it's basically symbolizing that the baby doesn't know any better. Baby hasn't been programmed to perceive कि सांप बुरा है हमारे लिए. So everything that you are interpreting, ये आपका अपना interpretation है कि जब ये होगा मेरे साथ तो अच्छा, इसका मतलब ये अच्छा था मेरे लिए, और अगर ये हुआ मेरे साथ तो इसका मतलब है ये बुरा था मेरे लिए. And you know, I had to go through a very dramatic experience in my own life to make me realize कि मेरी programming गलत जा रही थी. But once I realized, it was after that day, everything changed. You want to hear the story?
Go
Yes,
on,
sure.
why not?
Sure. Okay, I have 3 kids. Okay, so I have 2 boys, and then my daughter is the youngest. So when my middle son, his name is Nabi Bucks, but we call him Bobby. Pyar se Bobby hai. So when he was in his O levels, तो उसको नई नई Toyota Corolla मिली थी और वो speed करके चलाता था, you know, very fast, you know, रोडों पे. And every day, me and my husband would tell him कि देखो आराम से चलाओ, don't drive so fast. Or if you're going somewhere, take the driver with you. Khuda na khasta kuch ho jaye, you know, you have someone to support you. But obviously, you know, teenagers, they don't listen. So one Saturday morning, he got up and he went to the gym. So we live in Karachi Defense. So he went to the golf club. And on his way back from the gym, obviously he was speeding. So he was speeding down this long stretch of road. His car tire hit a rock and the car flew up, like, and it started to roll. Started to roll, and it kept rolling until it hit the side of a building that was under construction. It went ah, and then it fell like upside down on the roof. It was demolished. Okay. And I had no clue. So we was Saturday morning, then I got a call. It's Bobby. Mom, yeah, I had an accident. I know you were speeding. You must have been speeding. Now, like, I, you know, told him all this, told him off. And it's like, your dad's not even here. My husband's a pilot, so he was on a flight. I said, what am I supposed to do now? You guys, you know, you guys are ridiculous. You never listen. I told him off. And I said, okay, where are you? I'm going to come get you. He told me I'm on this road. And I woke up my other son. I said, get up, your stupid brother. He had an accident. We took out the other car and we went to find him. I was so angry. I was so mad. मेरा दिल कर रहा था मैं उतर के उसको 2-3 थप्पड़ मारते हुए खींचते हुए घर लेके आने वाली हूँ. You know, and we saw a crowd of people. And in the middle of the crowd, there was like a hunk of metal. You couldn't recognize कि ये गाड़ी एक ज़माने में थी, like a brand new Corolla. I said, is that our car? And और गुस्सा चढ़ा मुझे, इसको तो fix this guy, you know, I mean, लाखों का नुकसान. So I was so angry. I got out of my car and I was like, where is this guy? And beat him up right there in front of everybody. And then as I was going towards the crowd, in defense, they have this patrol car. So one of the patrol officers, he came in front of me and he said, Baji. I said, kya, what? You know, like what? And he goes, Baji, ek second. I said, kya hai? And he said, Baji, मेरा बेटा जंग पे गया था और वो कभी वापस नहीं आया. आप बहुत खुशकिस्मत हैं. आज अल्लाह ताला ने आपको आपका बेटा वापस दिया है. Complete flip. I was like, oh my God, where is he? Is he okay? So imagine this state of mind लाखों का नुकसान, right? And my state of mind, this is the worst day. We just lost lakhs of rupees, brand new car demolished. Oh, so angry. And then immediately, usi cheez ko, I became so grateful. Where's my son? And I found him, and you know, he didn't have a scratch on him. He didn't have a scratch on it. It's like a miracle. And he said, Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I said, it's okay, bacha. It's okay. Let's go home. It's okay. I will be careful next time. I said, it's okay. It's okay. Let's go home. You're okay. You're fine. Let's go home. Right? It was like, instead of being angry, instead of being upset, we were so happy that day. Lakho ge, who cares? Our son is fine, you know? So हमारी programming होती है वही चीज जो कहते हैं ना कि every coin has two sides. Every coin has two sides. आपकी मर्जी है आप कौन सा साइड देखना चाहते हैं. Every situation, everything that happens to you in your life, उसका बुरा भी है, उसका अच्छा भी perspective है. आपको consciously choose करना होगा the good perspective, क्योंकि आपका दिमाग नहीं चाहेगा अच्छा देखने के लिए. The human brain is designed to focus on खतरा, नुकसान, गलती, danger. The brain does not focus on good, reward. Can you tell me, can anybody tell me, one of you guys, why does the brain look for bad and it does not notice good? Why?
Survival.
Survival. Survival. हमें अच्छी चीज से कोई खतरा तो नहीं है ना. It's not a life or death situation. So why should we waste our energy looking for good? We focus more on the bad. We are more negatively biased. In psychology, it's called a negativity bias. Hum sab mein hai. Emotionally intelligent people know this, and they consciously look for the good in everything. They look for the good in people. They look for the good in situations. They look for the good in incidents. So you have to consciously look for it. खुद ब खुद कभी आपको अच्छी चीज नजर नहीं आएगी.
बहुत खूबसूरत. Thank you, Rahila, for elaborating and mixing it with your specialization. It's been a great dose of psychology. Wonderful. I'll quickly sort of, with the time that we have, एक तो ये कि males और females का क्योंकि एक दूसरे के बारे में बड़े stereotypes भी हैं, कुछ general statements हम believe करते हैं, तो बताएं कि naturally और culturally दोनों की wiring क्या है, और is there any specific advice for the two genders?
It's a very good question. And which is more emotionally intelligent? Who do you think, Umair? Women or men are more emotionally intelligent? Which one is more? What does the audience think? Who do you think? Who is more emotionally intelligent, women or men?
I would say that women are better at the emotional bandwidth. They are able to see more, to recognize more. I give it to them. Yet I've seen men sort of in the balance part. Men are able to sort of have better pragmatism when it comes to decisions. So I'm sort of undecided. Therefore, I put this question out to you.
Okay. Well, Umair, men, agar आदमी को काटो तो खून नहीं निकलेगा, right? If I cut my hand, it's gonna bleed. If I cut your hand, it's gonna bleed. We're both human beings, right? The way we handle emotions is part of our conditioning, hamari upbringing. Imagine, do you have kids, Umair?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, so when you have kids, imagine you have a little son, okay? And आप कहते हो उसको कि अभी तो खैर नहीं कहेंगे, जाओ बाहर जाके खेलो. अब तो नहीं कहेंगे. But imagine the day, एक वक्त आएगा, एक दिन आएगा जिसमें आप कहेंगे अपने बेटे को जाओ बाहर जाके दूसरे बच्चों के साथ खेलो. And he goes out and he's playing and a big kid comes and he pushes him down and he takes his toy and your son scrapes his knee and it's bleeding and he comes back to you crying. Ah. What are you going to say to your son?
Grow up. Be a man.
Be a man. Mard nahi rote. Right? be a man. Sher ka bachcha, right? Be a lion. Be a man. And so you're gonna make him, you're gonna scold him. And so what lesson did your son learn? Oh, emotions are bad. डांट पड़ेगी, punish मिलेगा, अब्बू नाराज होंगे मुझसे. I better not show my emotions. I better hold it in. But you will still hurt. You will still feel those emotions. It doesn't matter you're not expressing them. You are still feeling them, but you've been conditioned to not express it, to act like you don't feel anything because you are a man. Okay? Imagine the same situation. You have a daughter. छोटी बेटी है ना बोलते जाओ बेटा बाहर जाके खेलो दूसरे बच्चों के साथ. That bully comes, pushes her down, takes her dolly, and she falls down, scrapes her knee, and it's bleeding, and she comes crying to you. What are you going to say to her?
Yeah. बहुत बुरा हुआ, किसने किया?
अरे मेरा बेटा, अरे ओ मना किया ना, ऐसे बच्चों के साथ नहीं खेलो. Let me clean it up. Let me kiss the boo boo. Here, what you want a Barbie band-aid? Band-aid. बाहर नहीं जाना, इधर अब्बू के पास बैठो. कार्टून देखना है, कार्टून नेटवर्क लगा दो, डिज्नी चैनल. चलो नहीं, इधर बैठो, कार्टून देखो. लॉलीपॉप खाओगी? ये लो लॉलीपॉप. What did you just teach your daughter? Hey, emotions are good. चीजें मिलती है, attention मिलता है, प्यार मिलता है. Okay, look at what we just did. We just conditioned women that you can use emotions to get certain things out of life. Till this day, Umair, in the corporate sector, I see some females come, performance appraisal time, जब उनको evaluate किया जाता है, manager बेचारे डर के evaluate करते because वो रोना शुरू कर देंगे. Because that's what they learn, that the showing of emotions can help you get your way. Being emotional. So we are conditioned. It's not that we don't feel. But other than the conditioning, there is a chemical element to emotions too. We are, men and women have different chemistry. So, the time of the month, women are more emotional because it's hormones, it's chemistry. So there is a chemical element and a conditioning element. When combined, create that women seem to be more expressive in emotions and be more in emotional states than men.
It's 23 hours.
Wow. And it's 23 hours. Exactly on that. Let me throw two more. One is to give us some tips on how to develop emotional intelligence and just put it together with everyday habits. And something that people have also asked, any books, resources that you would recommend?
How to develop emotional intelligence is going to be a very long topic. Like we have to go.
Everyday habits that can help develop EI.
Very simple, okay, is age-old wisdom. Count to 10. You feel the emotional surge coming, and you feel the blood boiling, and aankhon ke samne andhera nazar aa raha hai, aur zaban pe bas wo alfaz nikalne wala hai. Program yourself that before you say or do anything, you will count to 10. Because 10 seconds, 6 to 10 seconds, is enough time for your limbic, the emotional brain, jo ab on ho gaya hai, to start to come back down and let your rational brain to come back in charge. So just count to 10. And agar aap dekhe, even in Islam, ke jab तलाक की बात होती है, right? I'm sure पहली दफा जब मुंह से तलाक का लफ्ज निकलता है तो you're like really angry, कुछ हुआ होगा, तलाक बेगम, whatever. But that doesn't count. You have to wait and then say it again. And still, you got to wait and say it a third time. क्यों? क्योंकि ऐसा फैसला होश में आके करना है. So you gotta let your rational brain come over, but just count to 10, right? And Umair, I'm sure जब आपकी शादी हुई थी और जब निकाह पढ़ा गया था, तो मौलवी ने पूछा कबूल है? कबूल है। तो आपने क्या वक्फे महीना बाद कबूल का जिक्र किया या एक ही दफा कबूल है
या
एक ही
एक ही
दफा?
दफा।
क्योंकि शायद अगर इंसान को वक्त देते इस फैसले करने के लिए, होश के दिमाग खुल जाता, तो शायद आज कोई शादी ही नहीं करता। Which is the state in a lot of Western countries. So why we don't need to get married? क्या फर्क? What's the use? क्योंकि होश का काम नहीं है ये इमोशंस का काम है शादी. All right. So count to 10.
And it's the opposite when you're letting go कि वो आप एक साथ नहीं कर सकते, उसमें time है, उसमें consciousness है. Wonderful.
बिल्कुल.
Any books, resources, you are an expert on the subject. Please recommendation जो कि हमारी audience जिसमें of course बहुत सारे लोग शामिल हैं, can benefit from it. Not too technical, but something that is more digestible.
You know, I'm the modern learner. So if I was you, I would go to YouTube, type in your question because I have some books here, you know. I don't know, they're not exactly about emotional intelligence. I don't know if you're interested. One really good book I would recommend is this, Quiet Leadership by David Rock. It's a lot of neuroscience and it's more for leadership, okay, using brain science. Day-to-day behavior, your brain at work. Again, David Rock was one of my professors when I did my master's in neuroleadership. And this is another one I'm reading right now, the Fear-Free Organization. So this is on my table all the time. So if you want to check those out.
Wow. Wonderful. Thank you for a brilliant dialogue. What amazing insights. और ऐसा महसूस नहीं हुआ कि हम ये digitally कर रहे हैं because your theatrics just broke through the barriers and I didn't realize how far we just sailed through this hour. आप सबका बहुत शुक्रिया. बहुत सारे सवालात आए and a lot of them we couldn't take in because we didn't have the time. But many of them are asking if Rahila can come again. Even if Rahila can't come again, she's wonderful. You can reach out to her and she does some brilliant programs and many of them webinars now that can help you with your professional presence, that can help you develop your leadership and of course develop this art of connecting, engaging with people because that's really, really the deal. Thank you very much, Rahila. I'm very blessed. You said yes right away and you have contributed so much here. We've all learned. Thank you. Stay well. Enjoy the rest of the quarantine as well. And we might ask you again. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. Anytime. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for your time.
Bye-bye. आप सबका बहुत शुक्रिया. लवली कमेंट्स, क्वेश्चंस है. सॉरी कुछ सवालात नहीं आ सके लेकिन जरूरी नहीं कि जब स्पीकर सामने आए और मौजू लगा हुआ हो लाइव पे तभी सवाल निकले. सवाल हर वक्त निकलने चाहिए और मॉडर्न लर्नर्स सवालात लुकअप करते हैं. सो प्लीज लुकअप करें. और जो ये कम्युनिटी वीव हो रही है, मैं एक और बात कहना चाहूंगा कि जहाँ लोग कुछ बात पूछते हैं वहाँ हम ही में से कुछ को जवाब भी पता होते हैं. और अगर हम आपस में इस तरीके से इंटरैक्ट करें, पीयर टू पीयर करें, आई थिंक वी कैन टीच ईच अदर अ होल लॉट. एक और बात, मुझे एक बात बहुत पसंद आई. आप तमाम लोगों के जो क्वारंटीन सीरीज में हमने किए हैं कि सवालात पे जजमेंट बहुत कम है, जो कि बहुत अच्छी बात है कि हर तरह के सवालात हम पूछ रहे हैं सीखने के लिए और यही जज्बा है जो कि इस सीरीज में है. इंशाल्लाह आई विल बी ब्रिंगिंग मेनी मोर स्पीकर्स एंड कॉन्वर्सेशन. सम ऑफ देम आर ऑलरेडी लाइंड अप. अगर आप यूट्यूब पे जाएं, फेसबुक पे जाएं, on my page or on Torque's page, you will be able to see I have some of my teachers coming in over the next few days. So I'm very, very excited. Looking forward to it. Until next time, inshallah.